Do you want to make a real impact on the lives of children and families? Are you passionate about supporting the fostering community? Then prepare to meet the game changers, the innovators. Prepare to meet the fostering pioneers. Welcome to the Fostering Pioneer podcast, where we shine a light on the incredible work of fostering pioneers in Wales. We'll be talking to the carers who are stepping up, sharing their experiences and driving positive change in the fostering community. Join us as we explore the Fostering Pioneer programme, discover how these carers are making their voices heard and how you can get involved. It's time to be inspired. It's time to hear from the pioneers. Let's get started. Well, welcome, Tracy. Great to have you on the podcast. I don't know if you want to start by just telling us a bit about yourself.
Oh, that's a hard one. I'm not one that likes talking, Joey, who can get a giggle out of that one. So basically, I live in the valleys in RCT. I'm in my 50s. My husband and I have been fostering since 2001 for a local authority. And I think we are, and I know I am, very passionate about what I do. I'm often heard saying I've got the best job in the world, but it's also the hardest job in the world. I wear many caps in life, as do many other people. I'm a foster carer, I'm an educator, lots of different things. But I think at the moment, one of my favorite caps I wear is as a pioneer for fostering with my local authority. I'm one of the longest standing pioneers with our authority, and it's a role I'm very passionate about.
Yeah, I remember, Tracy, when I first met you a couple of years ago. It's interesting you mentioned caps and hats. So the first thing I noticed about it, I think it was on a Teams call, and I saw this lady join, and she had this giant headset on, and I thought she looks a bit like an air traffic controller. So, and you have got that on today. So for those of you who are listening to the podcast, you'll not know that Tracy's got her brilliant. What is it, like a headset with speaker and?
Well, I'll make a confession. They're my husband's headphones, but there is gaming ones. So, they cancel out the noise, but they do look like I got these big things on my head. Yeah. But it is a really good set of headsets. So whenever I'm on a Zoom or Teams call work related, I genuinely use these because I did ask you, didn't I? You can't hear anything in the background, but it's quite noisy in my very busy house, shall we say.
I can't hear anything. It's great. But so you've been so that 24 years you've been fostering. That's a long time.
Coming
So
up this year, yes,
wow.
yes.
Thinking back to that 2001, what was it that made you decide to become a foster carer?
To be totally honest, though, I never imagined my life being a foster carer. My husband and I fell into fostering by accident. We applied to be adopters originally because we didn't think we were going to have a family of our own. And one thing led to another. And before you know, we were foster carers with a house full of children. Yeah. And then, thankfully, we were blessed with, through IVF, to having our own two children in the mix as well. So my two children, I got quite a number of children I would consider my own because of the lifestyle. Um, and they all have lived and grown together like siblings, family. We've become blended and unique over the years. And it just sets up, I think, for our young people, you know, life is chaos, but there is normal times that can be found in ordinary times in chaos, then, shall I say.
Mm. So interesting. I didn't know that about you, Tracy. So when you had birth children eventually,
Yeah.
why was it then you continued fostering? What was it that motivated you to carry on?
Just being a mum, I think, it speaks to my authentic mum type of personality. I've got a big heart. I'm so thoughtful and considerate of other people. I think I just want to help, basically. And I just thought I wanted children in my life. I felt pregnant with my first child, and then they told me I couldn't have any more. And then we thought, right, we're still going to adopt, so you can have another one. Then when so we were going through the adoption, then I felt pregnant, so we paused everything. You know what it's like. It was so Lorraine Kelly on the TV was doing National Program of Adoption Week, and I thought, you know what? yes, that's how we came about really. And then we went through a bit of process. We paused it because of our personal circumstances. But I knew wholeheartedly I didn't want my son to be an only child. I'm blessed with a very large family. I'm one of five siblings, and we got lots of cousins and aunties. My mother is one of eight. You know what I'm saying? In the valleys, we're known for our big families. So yeah, I think then it was like we didn't want him to be on his own. So we started the process again. And we went for another round of treatment, as you do, just to see if it would work. They said it wouldn't work, and I said, okay. So we full-heartedly going into the adoption process. And then the social worker said to me, have you ever thought about fostering? And I was like, no, what's the difference? So she explained what the differences are. And I thought, you know what? I'm actually blessed with my one child. Okay, I can't have any more, but he can have more in his life. And then we were just going through the process and I fell pregnant naturally. How bizarre is that like, isn't it? So it was like, okay, I had a newborn baby, I had a 3-year-old and a foster child in the house all together. So it was crazy times, but some of the happiest. Yeah, yes, but it was some of the best years of our lives, shall we say? And welcoming other young people who may have only stayed for a week or two. I've got one young man who came when he was 4, and he's 23 and still lives here. So but again, I think that speaks to our authentic family vibe that we've got. Then, isn't it?
That's brilliant. It sounds, yeah, it's just lovely to hear people's stories, how they come into fostering, because it's always different. And I just think it's amazing that, when you start it, it becomes not addictive, but it's lovely, isn't it? I think that's been our experience of fostering, that we sort of dipped our toe in a bit. And then once we got started, we never looked back.
I think it's a privilege to be able to have a child in our home. Just to be able to hold their hand when they cry or share some of their firsts with them, lots of happiness, joy. There is going to be tears along the way, Joe. You live the life you know yourself, but it's about, putting our need. All my needs have met because I've got a house full of young people. They keep me on my toes. They, test me, but I'm helping them be themselves, being who they want to be. So yes, my needs are being met, but their needs are paramount to mine. Do you get what I'm saying there? So we go above and beyond. And, one young lady that we took in at 6, she'd been with us from 6, and she started, so respite. So we were helping our family with support, once a month anyway, and once a fortnight. And eventually, unfortunately, things didn't work. She ended up staying with us long term, basically. But at 16, I'll never forget the day she said to me, because she's exactly the same age as my biological son. They went through school together because of the long-term process. He was always about university. And I said to her at 16, so are you going to apply to go to uni? And her response was, kids like me don't go to university. That was it. That just got me fired up straight away. I was like, what do you mean, kids like you? You're no different to my son. You're no different to, you live as brother and sister, you go to school together, he's going to uni. Why don't you want to go to uni? And she said, well, I just didn't think I could. And bless her, she was dyslexic. So she struggled with getting her English GCSE in school. And I was like, well, I'll help you with this. If this is what you want to do, um, we did, and we got a private tutor. She took an English GCSE 5 times to get the grade. She got into uni, as typical young people at 18. She thought she didn't need any help then. She wanted to do it all independently. And I remember she was nearly halfway through her first year, and she wouldn't tell him she was a care leaver. She wouldn't know that she was dyslexic, because I suppose we brought her up as part of family. So she lived as family. She don't tell nobody she's not family, did they? And they being independent. So when she came home and she was saying, I'm struggling, I said, well, you do know you got help and you passed your GCSEs. So get some help to get in, this uni sorted. And long story short, she stuck out in uni. She's done her masters as well now. She's, nearly 30, and she's so happy in life, but she comes back and forth here every other weekend, she brings her partner. They bought their first home together. So, she's doing really, really well. But that moment when she was 16 and said to me, kids like me don't go to uni, it was just like, it was that moment that, no, you're wrong there. Dude, if that's what you want to do, I'm going to help you get there. And that's what life is like for us.
Thinking about the pioneers then, so you became a foster carer sort of 24 years ago, and you've become a fostering pioneer. That's how I first met you. So can you explain why you became a pioneer?
Again, I think it was the most natural progression, to be fair. I always like to think that I'm giving back to others and helping others, and the pioneer role helps me just that little bit extra support my fostering community, helping my young people, whether it's with other foster carers or my own. It's just an added extension to my authentic self. I go, if I can help someone, I'll help them. And I'm in it, when Lee and I first started fostering, we had fantastic support when we first started. And I just think in life now, I'm at a stage in my fostering journey. I've had so many experiences over the years, whether it was emergency placement, short term, short breaks, long term. There is so much to the umbrella of fostering. Issues with a young person who's autistic with education, lots of experience. We can go on a wealth of things here, can't we, within the role of foster carer, what we deal with. And I just know what it was like in the beginning, thinking, oh my God, what's it going to be like? Have I done it right? And, so I've reflected on that. So by being a pioneer, I can actually give back some of the support that I had back in the day. And also, hopefully, we as a fostering family will inspire others to do the job. Because realistically, I'm not going to be around forever. I keep telling my supervisor, social worker, one day I'm going to retire. And she's like, no, not yet, you're not. You're not done. And I've got so much energy and passion for fostering. I'm not done by a long way. But I just think it's important that we need a circle. So 20 odd years ago, someone helped me. And you never know, someone I'm helping now will go on to help others. Do you continue that circle of support? Even just signposting somebody where to go. It's even just providing that listening ear. Because it's a challenge when we do this job that we can't talk to all our families and friends about what goes on, but I can talk to another foster carer because they are going through it. We're not breaking any confidentiality. We're actually just supporting each other. And there's nothing more valuable, I think, than sitting alongside someone just to be there with them to share the good and the bad.
Mm. Yeah, I think when I've met foster carers who are fairly new, one of the things they often reflect is it can be quite lonely. You can feel a bit on your own. It's hard to find your people, your community. So I think you're right, Tony. What being a pioneer is sort of a way of ensuring that people are helped into it, isn't it? Supported, encouraged to foster, part of that community more quickly. I really like how you said that you had a really good experience yourself of joining fostering, but you want to sort of return that by supporting others. So what are some of the things that you do then as a pioneer? What are some of these sort of activities day to day that you might be involved in?
When I first started as a pioneer, the role has grown and evolved and is very different to what it is now. So I think in the beginning, it was about just maybe mentoring someone, buddying up. So there's an extension of that still goes on today, to be honest. Um, I've done, it's trying to keep balance there because there is so much involved with the role. But we good with as a pioneer, we can work to our strengths, I think, so that in my local authority, we've been encouraged where our passions are, I think. So, in the past, I've offered some respite, whether it be weekend to kinship, but, with young people at home. I've done some, help somebody out by having a young person so they can go and attend training. I've been there when placement stability to help maintain the placement. There's lots of things. But currently, where I'm at, which I think is this year for 2025, there's a lot said about the first year of good practice within fostering. And I often get the student social worker and things like that to shadow me or ask me questions. And I like that because, again, I had to learn. it's a natural circle of life, isn't it? So we've got a very lovely recruitment and retention officer that I work alongside quite often. I don't want to name her on here because she would not be happy if I said her name here.
Would she not? Would she not? Oh, I know
No,
exactly who you're talking about.
yeah, she doesn't, everybody in the team. I'm not, but we work on recruitment and retention. That's where we're at the moment. And so what I think is lovely with recruitment and retention and the first year of practice is where I come in, that I've actually met someone on the street, talked to them about fostering, met them through their assessment. So there's that continued support. Then once they've gone through panel, I'm there to welcome them as a foster carer, just kind of take them and, just be their buddy, be there with them, take them to their first coffee morning, talk to them about their first placements, just genuinely, so that sometimes, again, and this is where it comes in really good, it fosters good working relationships as well, so that um, for example, somebody asked me something the other day and said, I'm in such a dilemma. Do I speak to my supervising social worker about this or not? And I was like, well, tell me what it is. Oh, of course, you can talk about that. It's just giving them that confidence and reassurance about, because there's lots of taboos around fostering, isn't there? Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. But actually, we love them like our own. We definitely know they're not ours, but we love them. But I just think as that pioneer with the first year of practice, again, it's just helping them to access training, meet other foster. It's not meeting up and just having a talk over coffee. Bring them to a coffee morning, welcome them into the community, and just again showing them the way. Then, shall we say, in a nice, laid back, friendly way. Obviously, if there's issues, like I was talking to someone who had IT difficulties, that's not my expertise, right? I've got no thing there. But however, we're a really good team of foster carers and pioneers that I can actually say, do you know what? I know another pioneer who can help you with that. And that's what we do. So it's great that we can share our wealth of our local authority and knowledge and skills in our foster carers because we're our biggest asset that we bring to the table, Joey. You were the same, but I'm only one part of a team around a
Mm.
child. My supervising social worker is essential. The children's social worker is essential. IROs, it's a big team, isn't it? It's not just us. I just think we get the nicest part because, we get to do all the little things. And it's building those relationships that make the difference.
Mm. That's brilliant. I know as well, Tracy, because aside from being part of recruitment and helping retention is kind of peer support. It's the same thing, really, isn't it?
Yes,
Sort of,
yeah.
supporting carers so they stay and feel, part of it and supported. But I know also that you are actively involved in training. So we do our Pioneer National Training, usually there, and a really important part of that. And also part of our advocacy and consultation work that we do as pioneers. You're involved in the Book Trust pilot at the moment, is that correct?
That's correct, yeah. Again, I think the biggest gift we can give our young people is the gift of reading because everything else without reading and having cared for a young person who has been dyslexic is dyslexic to overcome some of those hurdles and things like that. But yeah, the pilot program with the book trust, I think is an amazing opportunity and just being able to again give feedback, what worked, what didn't work, see my young person enjoy the experience with the books as well. Because let's be honest with you, sometimes we just don't know where to start, do we? We just don't sometimes. So at least the book trust now doing this pilot, then it is a lovely way forward for all, I think.
Hmm. I think it's been brilliant as well because of the pioneers. I think we're nearly at 100 now. So we've got all these experienced foster carers across Wales who are open to supporting new initiatives like things for the Book Trust. I'm also aware, Tracy, that you were on national radio, which is very exciting. And also we are, I think next week from recording, we have our Fostering Wellbeing Conference, which is in North Wales this year. We had ours in South Wales last year, and you were involved in that as well. I don't know if you wanted to quickly talk about your involvement in the conference. Can you remember? It's a year ago.
Has it been a year? It's
Well,
surprising,
nearly. I
isn't
think
it?
so, yeah.
Just we were I was on stage, wasn't I? And I was a nervous wreck. But I do well, apparently, my colleagues to say to me, but we just talked about our experiences, didn't we, to share with other local authorities, because, you know, because RCT have been doing it the longest, is fair to say. So we've ironed out some kinks along the way. We've had a really good manager who has empowered us as pioneers to adapt the role and work as part of the team. So at the conference, yeah, I think we finished the conference off with a group of us pioneers just got up on stage and shared some of the things we do, because we had a pioneer there who talked about school and all the because again, there are so many services available now for young people. And he talked about his bit. We had another pioneer on stage who talked about party planning, because yes, we throw parties for our kids. You know, who doesn't love a good party and events celebrating what we do as a local authority? I just talk for Wales, so I was up there, talking. I've been on talking radio for Wales about my job. I just think I'm passionate and just sharing my passion. And I think that comes across tenfold, doesn't it? So yeah, that's me basically.
I mean, you might think, oh, it's just speaking at a conference. So even now, I have conversations with local authority staff who are there, who talk about the impact of hearing that, and that's why they want to find out more about pioneers, why they're excited about the pioneer program, because they heard the team of pioneers at RCT talking last year. So it's still having an impact. So you've kind of answered my last question, really, Tracy, which has kind of naturally come through what you said. But at RCT, you are a team. So one of the larger pioneer teams in Wales. I don't know the exact number. Is that around about 15?
We are, and what's very nice about it is that having such a large team, we can dip in and out depending on where our fostering journey is, because obviously we all agree that our young people are more important than anything. They are prioritised so that we can dip in and out. And sometimes our skill set, like the party planning, for example, that's not everyday support. That's only done a couple of times a year. So, there's a nice healthy balance.
So this is a question I didn't prepare you with, Tracy, but I'll throw it in and see how we do. So if someone is a foster carer and they're with their local authority and they think they've got a bit of extra capacity and they're thinking of being a pioneer, what would you say to them?
I think every single foster carer has got um the skills to be a pioneer, to be honest with you, because fostering's not the easy job. Um, and I would just speak out because we all advocates for our young people. And again, that's part of the pioneer role. We're advocating for fostering, and we talk about bad things as well as the good things. That's why I am so active that I want to change things if I think they're not working right. I'm able to have my voice heard, be part of the professional team around the child. But I'd advocate any foster carer can be a pioneer. Just put your hand up, speak to, your supervising social worker you want to ask about it, meet a pioneer. And to be fair, I think most of us now in RCT, because we got a big team, we know all our foster carers, I think, between us all, and we recognise skills. Because I spoke to a foster carer recently and she said, I can't be a pioneer. And I was like, why can't you be a pioneer? And she said, well, I'm a single carer and I do it all on my own. And I said, you know how many single carers we got that you can actually, because you've been around a while, guide through the process and give them, that listening ear and that bit of confidence. So there's a long-winded way around it. Any foster carer can be a pioneer. We all got something to give.
Thanks, Tracy. And sort of our final question for the podcast, which we like to ask our guests, our pioneers, is if someone would find themselves in RCT sometime soon with the kids, can you recommend a really good day out in RCT?
Oh, now you're asking me. I suppose it depends on the age of the young people, but honestly, I think we're so blessed with many mountains and hills up in the valleys that you can't be taking a football, a blanket, and a pack bag of goodies, whether it's ham sandwiches, cheese sandwiches, dare I say it, nothing healthy. But take the kids up on the mountain, kick the ball around, run around. We personally do that quite often, and we got these little cards that look for flowers, insects, so that we make it a learning opportunity without it being a learning, not saying, oh, we're going to go up on a bug hunt on the mountain. Um, but yeah, we got some fantastic mountains up this area. Basically, I think you can pull over and find a trail most places. One of my favourite places to walk is Cwrdd Lakes. I think you've been there as well, haven't you, Joey?
I have.
There's a lovely learning centre there as well and a cafe. Ponty, we have the Lido and Ponty Park. They don't have to cost a lot of money then, do they? And it's all about just being together. You know, we'll walk in the rain, but I don't think, but you can swim in the Lido in the rain because in the winter there's a heated pool apparently. So, you just get cold when you get in and out. But we're quite lucky really in our city. You've got Aberdare Park, there's just so many lovely outdoor areas.
Lovely. Well, Tracy, thank you so much for being on the Pioneer podcast. It's been lovely to chat.
Thank you for asking me. I feel quite privileged being able to share my fostering journey and pioneer work.
Well, we're very glad you're a pioneer, Tracy.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.